So, here we are, on equal footing. This nice, snowy Arctic tile set. We've got Grungy as the red Kel player today on his first hunt, and he looks to be getting the wood to try and get an early barracks. Meanwhile, his opponent Rafa already going for the early barracks, distance gathering onto the berries for now, but also looking to gather his wood from the trees around his town centre. So we'll see how this plays out against the more traditional starter here. Just been scouting out some huntables. Our friend Rafa. Meanwhile, our friend Grungy found another hunt close to his base, so he's taking that one down. Rafa hasn't found any hunts around his base so far. And the thing with not finding huntables around your base is that it's going to cost you really, because berries they gather at a base rate of 0.9 huntables. You're gathering at a base rate of 1.3, as you can see, all the food gather rates. So got the barracks from Grungy coming out now, a little bit slower than Rafa's, but I think his gathering's going to have a slight edge over Rafa here. So unless Rafa actually manages to push him off here, and considering this is a really close huntable, the barracks is just inside the TC range, so this is very smart. He's going to be able to defend it without, you know, having the spears just take out the barracks, be able to kill spears. Grungy, I think, has managed to secure this quite well. He's going to get a wood storehouse and a stone storehouse. He's not going to need a gold storehouse early on, being the Celts, and they cost 40 food for the spearmen. So we got Rafa actually taking a fairly distant hunt here. Like, he'd be better off taking this one. It's a little bit closer to his town centre. Hasn't got this huge amount of water distance to try and save his villagers. And villagers, they move at a speed of 6. And, well, so do the Egyptian spearmen, but the Celt spearmen, they actually move at a speed of 7. So they're a really nice, nimble unit. Really quite cheap. Don't cost any gold. Egyptian spearmen become just as cheap eventually. But for now, they're going to cost 10 gold instead of 5 before that champion upgrade, so they are going to cost 5 more resources a pop. And I believe they do actually train slightly faster. Yes, they do, by 1 second as a base. And Rafa now getting hunting dogs, nice tech to have. But Grungy's going to spot this distance storehouse here, and he will be able to punish it if he chooses to move it out, I think, because Rafa's spears are back at home at the moment. They're not actually sitting parked on top of the storehouse, so Grungy can probably push Rafa back here, I think. And Grungy's actually getting loom while he actually pushes out, which is really smart, leaving a couple of spears at home as well. He hasn't seen any spears here, so he's gonna have a dig, I think. Oh no, he's not. I thought he was gonna move out there, but he's just left everything at home. Did he cut spears? He must have. Rafa's actually population capped here, so this is hurting him a little bit. He needs to get the wood to actually throw down a house to keep producing villagers here, as well as keep producing any spearmen if he needs to. Having that hunting dog tech is really nice. Grungy's already taken it as well, so he's been getting that value the whole time. He's already got a slight population lead of 17 to 13 in terms of the villagers, so missing villager cycles here has been hurting Rafa a little bit. And Grungy's already got age 2 in the queue, so Grungy's not really losing out on that. Egypt aging up, they don't have to sacrifice village train time to age up, while the other civs do, other than Babylon as well. So Rafa slightly faster on the age 2, but it's going to be for naught economically here, I think. And oh, there is a fight going on down here, so Grungy did move out. Picked up a fair few villager kills there, sent Rafa down to 8, so he's picked off 5 villagers effectively for free because Rafa has not moved out in response to this. So Rafa in dire straits now, even though he's getting the axemen out. They're going to be a really, really nice counter infantry unit against these spearmen, but oh, Rafa, you need to try and save that scout, my friend. No, the scout is faster and he can disengage that fight, but oh, Rafa just not quite quick enough to do so. And there's no wood storehouse yet, no stone storehouse yet here for Rafa. This is really hurting him. Grungy taking it fairly safe, taking town center here. He can just park all his spears here and try and defend this. any shove from Rafa, but I don't think Rafa's actually, well, don't think he's really intending to do so. He's just left everything at home here, even though he's got 8 infantry compared to Grungy's 5. He really probably could have pushed this in response to being pushed back over here, and ideally I think he probably should have been on one of these hunts closer to his base, like I said. It's cost him a little bit. Now he's only on 12 villages to Grungy's 20, and Grungy's got double production over him. So it's really hurting Rafa right now. He needs to put that storehouse as close as he can as well. Maybe only a tile away. That's sort of 3 tiles away, really. And same here with these mines. He needs to have a storehouse 1 tile away exactly. Get that optimal gathering if he can. Like you see Grungy's position with his hunt as close to as many of these 1 tile away as he can. And then he's got the TC 1 tile away from the berries there. Same with his storehouse at the woods. So Grungy's optimal village gathering is really helping him boom. It's double villager production as well. Able to just really rely on one barracks spearman production at the moment and try and cram out this early market. This is really quite nice because this is going to allow him to leverage a bigger economy over his opponent for even longer here, because Rafa still has to play catch up on the town center, and it's now going to have to play catch up on a pair of markets because Grungy's going to commit to 2. So he seems to really be booming, really be content that his opponent's not just going to shove him. So, but I think Grungy needs to be a little bit careful here because Rafa has been consistently producing these axemen, even though his villager production I think has been a little bit shoddy, and he can probably cancel 2 of those axemen, add villager production in the meantime, throw down a house immediately because he has the wood to do so. There we go, he's finished one off there. But really guys, if you can, if you ever got a bunch of units queued up in one building and nothing in another and your population capped, unqueue the things that aren't actually being trained and start training up things in the other building. Get your whole production moving again. You know, you don't need to sacrifice everything just because your population capped, but you've got some units queued up. Like, it's so inefficient to do that to yourself. Grungy's been doing a much better job of spending here and gathering over Rafa because of his experience, I think. Like, Rafa's sort of been a dark horse in this tournament, but it's not going to fare well for him, I think, because Grungy is going to have a commanding lead economically here, I think. He's about 20 population ahead, adding those double caravan production as well, so he's got 4 times the number of economic units producing right now of Rafa. He's the only one that's dealt any sort of aggression so far in this game. Apologies to Rafa, but right now there's not really a lot going for him. Sitting here on the 1 town center, still not gathering any stones, so that would allow him to throw down that 2nd town center, get this big fortress-like building that deals damage, produces the villages. You really need that. Grungy parking this here is really useful because if the markets get dived, he's got something to either pressure Rafa at home or come back here and recover on the markets. He's trying to wall this up now, which is a good idea because then he can actually push out with this or sit them somewhere else. Gonna watch post the other side of Rafa's base. So Grungy playing quite a smart game here. He's adding in some long swordsmen, which is nice. 2nd barracks is out for him. So he's got double military production capabilities over his opponent. About to triple that. Rafa really needs to start adding some more barracks in, I think. And he probably should look at storehousing this. Stables coming out now for Rafa, so this could add a bit more spice to his army here. But it's saying that Grungy's got a good spearman count. He hasn't really lost anything from the early game, kept up the production of them. So he's gone up to 12 spears. So a small number of camels is not really going to mean a lot unless Rafa can somehow take a fight, bait the spears into fighting against this Axeman Slinger Spearman ball while the camels attack elsewhere in Grungy's base. And with these walls going up, Grungy is really solidifying his position on the map. He really just needs to wall up this segment here, and it becomes really hard for Rafa to do anything without taking a big sort of J-shaped raid across the entirety of the map to get through to his base. So Grungy looking very comfortable heading into Age 3. Rafa, no Age 3 on the way yet for him. In fact, his economy is just like a really big Age 1 economy at the moment. He's got 24 villages to Grungy's 69. XD. There's no second storehouse here to really cut down this walk time. Maybe put one here and one here, or just one right here in the center. Either way, just try and maximize that gathering. Grungy, having transitioned over to the other side of this wood line, he's just sort of going to rely on this. Might be optimal if he pulls a couple more of these guys over here where they'll gather a little bit faster, but at the same time, he's got a really nice lead, and Rafa falling behind quite bigly. Oh, didn't notice, but Grungy's scout died in a game of PvE to the wolf. So he's going to have to look at sending a villager up to finish that watch post, but other than that, Grungy's been playing quite well. Oh no, I take that back. He's actually just rallied it to produce another watch post without realizing he didn't actually finish the first one. So not as shameful of a mistake. In fact, he's even got the healing tech for his scout. Healing ointment, which Rafa doesn't have yet, but players coming out for Rafa, so he's getting the farm tech, yet he doesn't have any farms yet, but there's plenty of food around his base, so he doesn't necessarily need to get this. Like, he's got all these hunts, but he needs to try and secure them with his army rather than sort of parking it here with his gold mine. And not having had a second town center, so Grungy able to get a huge amount of value out of this. Taking out 3 or 4 villages there for Rafa, with only a handful of spearmen who are basically sort of a junk unit until there's a huge amount of camels out in the field for Rafa, because Grungy is able to basically just produce longswordsman druid here, and he's going to be able to mount a huge counter infantry based push, cut through the axemen and spears, and pretty much just ignore, you know, a supporting roll number of camels and slingers. So H3 finishing up here for Rafa, so that's great for him, but at the same time he needs to add another 2 town centers. Like, Grungy has added a town center and age, which is how you should always attempt to play the game, and Rafa skipped his second town center completely. He's going to go for siege workshop now, add in a bunch of farms, but just it's such an inefficient way to approach his economy at this stage. Like, Grungy is just expanding to every hunt and berries on the map without having to worry too much about having to take farms at this point. Even though his economy is much larger, he's actually spent a lot more to go all the way up to 163 population. Like, he's not really lost anywhere near as much as his opponent, but he's gathered an awful lot more out of the map. But he's still sitting comfortably. No farms yet. Got his markets out, got multiple town centers. Rafa, in the meantime, going for this last-ditch attempt. Axeman champion, but he's only got 16 axes. Only got the 1 barracks. Hasn't got conditioning. He's not going to be able to do some huge game-ending flood with Axeman champion here. Meanwhile, the longswordsmen have their champ upgrade already. There's plenty of druids in the mix. There's as many druids as there are axemen for Rafa, so this is an awful sign here for the Egyptian player. More groves coming out here for Grungy, so he's just going to try and basically mass druid here, I think. Now guys, remember, we do actually have a little competition on for favorite clips and favorite strategies for the tournament. The players will get rewarded as such for doing so, so remember, you can actually make submissions for that, for your favorite gameplay from the players. And Grungy, this might be relevant to that because he's going to go for this mass druid, small number of longswordsmen push, which I think is really quite nice. He's going to get Shieldrum, he's going to get all the armors, and even the melee damage does benefit the druids and both the armor tech. So mass druid, even with the armors. What are we spelling here, man? He wants to go for the creative award, hey? This is his submission, and he's telling us, Grungy is going to tell us he's going for the creative award, and he's even going to put a little smiley face here. Oh my god. Poor old Rafa. A little bit of BM. But I mean, this gives Rafa an opportunity, I suppose, to catch up a little bit in terms of army production while Grungy's been concentrating on producing his little creative wall and his smiley face here. Oh man, I love this. And like I said, guys, you can actually make submissions for your favorite clips and for your favorite games with their creative play of the players in the tournament. And yeah, there's basically 2 or 3 different awards for that. So send some submission in. Grungy diving in here, picking off a couple of camels, not really losing anything. Oh, he's deleted all his swords. His long swordsmen have been deleted. He wants to go for mass druid. He's got elder druid, so he's gone all out. He's got that bonus health and damage upgrade on them. These guys, man, they even look really cool. It's gonna be hard to like micro both the attack and the heal here for Grungy, but he's gonna attempt to do so, and I think he's gonna pull it off just because he's got that much of a landslide of units in his favor. He's got a few deer in production, so I don't know if he's misrallied them or if he's trying to make use of the auger, but he's brought his auger up here. Now that bugger can actually convert units if he wishes. But ooh, a bit of a one-sided fight here. Grungy getting all the kills. Not a lot of augers, I mean not a lot of druids even falling there. So guys, be careful. The mass druid cheese is real. And now Grungy is going to go in for the kill. Going for the throat. Poor old Rafa here. Adding in a second fortress. He's got a first one here. He's going to have war elephants. So this might be the one thing that actually helps him. But Grungy has brought augers forward, so he can even convert them if he wishes. He's got that many druids, but they're not really that poorly off to splash. Gonna kill the siege workshops of the Egyptian player. Now these elder druids gonna go for the town center with their 30 damage, 27 melee infantry DPS, 29.7 melee infantry DPS. So Grungy gonna make quick work here of Rafa in game number 1. Rafa falling to mass elder druid. And I think that'll be it. So guys, let's get Rafa to resign. Or is he going to try and play this out? I really don't want him to try and Bill hide. It's over. He's not going to get anything to there, is he? Yeah. Sorry to sort of be a bit rude about it, but yeah, it is a tournament. So in terms of villager production, yeah, Grungy just really blew Rafa there, away there, blew him there. So that double market and ramping up the TCs as normal is always going to be better in the long run for a player. So guys, that's game number 1 down between Grungy and Rafa.